So I would say that, and I'd caution people who are looking at, saying to not be an entrepreneur, but just caution them to say, listen, this is what it takes, and have that mindset before you embark on this entrepreneurial venture.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
So why we are like this? Why we need to wait? Because on the other hand, there are people now in corporate America that looking at you so young, so clever, that you have your business and you decide your own destiny. And if you're gonna go on holiday tomorrow, you go and you don't need to tell anybody. And you have people working for you and so on. So you can provide for your people that work for you and whatever. Well, we have other people in corporate America that they are trapped in a golden cage. Listen to this podcast, say, well, I wish that I had the courage to have my own business. They also have skills. They are also very smart people, that's why they depend on a lot of salary. But still they're trapped in the golden cage with this big house and this big car, and they think that they are free and they have freedom until somebody come one day and tell them, look, we don't need you anymore, and now you have a certain age and you only know very good one skill, because this is what you do in corporate, you master one skill. Whether being an entrepreneur is a completely different ball game. You need to have a lot of skills. I think that if you and I go out there to find a job in something, we don't know what to put in the CV, because sales, I know how to do marketing, I know how to do this, I know how to do this, you know what I mean? So, but why? Why we operate like this? Why? Maybe we have been so lucky that the worst day of our life become the day of our life, and probably people that are trapped in corporate America, they have this very plain life, nothing happened to them, and they kind of miss the train. So what is your view on this? A little bit philosophical.
I think that's probably the best question I've heard in a long time. Why does it take something drastic, something terrible to happen to change your mindset? Why can't we change our mindset now? Why? And I think
for everybody listening, for example.
Yeah. And I think, I could go on a whole tangent on that. It's definitely a rhetorical question. I think for the audience, it's good for you to ask yourself that. If you're an aspiring entrepreneur, if you're not happy with your 9 to 5, why not change your mindset now, right? It's never too late, in my opinion. I'll just say this. I'm super grateful that my dad went to prison. And that's a very weird thing to say, but
that's what I'm saying. The worst day of your life become the best day of your life.
Yes.
And you don't even know why.
And I was going to reference your point. Yeah, it's a beautiful statement you made, Harry. I totally agree with that. And I think I'm looking back on it now, that little college me, not too long ago, like 6 or 7 years ago, who was desperate, who was broke, who just didn't know anything about anything. And now to be able to, say I have a company that's, worth, some decent scratch, and we provide a lot of value. It's not just the company, but I think it's the thing that you can't be taxed on. It's your mindset and your skill set. Unless the government figures out how to do that, they can tax me, they can do whatever, but they can't break my spirit. They can't get rid of my mindset, and they can't get rid of my skill set. And I think that's honestly the most grateful thing I'm proud of from all those crazy experiences, for sure.
Yeah, I think that when you're very young, you have different readings. So something triggered you, something happened within yourself that you say, what? This happened to daddy. You know what? I'm going to provide myself, and I'm gonna take responsibility, and I'm gonna create my own job. Yeah. So because if I create my own job and I'm responsible for everything that I do, this thing will never happen to me. And as a result, look what happened. It went even better, because entrepreneurship. I've been asking this to everybody here that come to this broadcast. We always have this something within ourselves that we can do better. Yeah, but this is not enough, and it's not. We have people in this broadcast that coming from generations of entrepreneurs and family entrepreneurs. We have people also that, like me, that nobody in my family is an entrepreneur. Was my grandfather, and he was He died very young, when I was very young, so I couldn't have any reference from my grandfather. And he has a small business, small grocery. So he had a small grocery. So we have something within ourselves that somehow we born from this, or we took a book, or we have something that is already within ourselves. But you know what happens, Sean? It's not enough to having it. It needs that moment, this spark, this decision, okay? Uh, this incident that sparked this entrepreneurial mindset and decision. I think this just, you take the decision, okay? And I took my decision gonna be an entrepreneur 17 years ago. I'm still around, you know what I mean? So and I have been a very bumpy ride. I have restaurant, lost money, property business, you name it. So, um, but I love it. I love it that I can create my own job, that I
Yeah.
can create my own future, and I can work with people that I like, which is amazing. You see, I only talk and work with people that I like. I don't need to, sometimes you see people at work, you hear the people, they have to work with people that they don't like, and they have to just deal with it. Can you imagine being 8 hours surrounded with people that you don't like or whatever? I think in my opinion, this had to be horrible, right? For me, no, because, I like my clients. I like the people that if I don't like the person, I just don't work with it, not in any capacity, not as client, not as whatever. So you can create your own world. You can create your own environment because you dictate how you want this environment to be. Of course, takes time because at the beginning, when you're building a business, you have to sell your product. You need to make a market fit. You're gonna have this client that want to pay you little money. We all have been there. Yeah, and then kind of want to pay a little money, and they want more value, and they can afford, and whatever. But eventually, when you kind to adjust yourself, um, you can start to think not only what kind of business I'm gonna have, what kind of life I'm gonna have. Because for me, I use the business as a vehicle to live the life how I want to live it, right? Yeah. For example, today we're broadcasting from Miami, from United States.
Love
So
that.
travel, yeah, because to call in London for the moment. So the whole point is that the the whole point of this is that you can design what kind of life um, you want to have by being an entrepreneur. Okay, so what are the biggest or what message do you have for our listeners that they have this within themselves, that they want to start their own business as an entrepreneur, they want to have their own career, yeah, but they still, or somebody in corporate as well, but they still need this last push. They still need this little um, this little spark that would definitely we made them to take a decision that would change their life forever. So
Yeah.
what message do you have for everyone listening? It could be in the 9 to 5 job, or could be these wannabe entrepreneurs. All these wannabe entrepreneurs, I know that they can be great entrepreneurs, but there is this last push that they need.
Yeah. I think it's as simple as this. I think if you're a 9 to 5 person, you're working part time somewhere, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be your own boss, you want to get your own time and own money. I think the best thing you can do is to be faced with some sort of a reality that it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like you want to
100%.
get a clear understanding of what this entails. Because I think a lot of people, when they want to be entrepreneurs, they're like, oh yeah, I got to quit my job and start from nothing. And like, sure, that's one way to do it. But I think one of the best ways to do it is continue your 9 to 5.
100%.
And then on your 5 to 9, 5 p.m.
Yes.
to 9 p.m., focus on, okay, what does it take to be an entrepreneur? Get your mindset right.
That's how I built my
Focus on
first
your
business.
product. Yeah.
I was
And I
working in
think,
the pub and parallel I was building my first business. That's a great advice. Continue, please. It's a great tip.
yeah, I was just going to say, thank you. I think it's really important to continue getting that income from the 9 to 5, and then on the 5 to 9, get your mindset right, understand truly what it means to be an entrepreneur. Because a lot of people, well, like, I'm working now more than I ever had. I've never really had a 9 to 5 job, but if I did, I would be working. I work more now than I probably would ever if I had a 9 to 5. So people need to be faced with the reality. You're going to work a lot more than you are currently, but so you need to make sure you're loving what you're doing. I think it all boils down to that. Find something you're good at, that you love to do, and that you can make a living doing. Those 3 things are very powerful as well. And I really don't think you can go wrong, but you need to be faced with the reality of it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be probably the most challenging thing that you've ever done as a human being. And that's okay. That's all normal of entrepreneurship. You're not doing anything wrong. It's not like you're a bad person. It's not like you're dumb. It's okay. And it's all normal, and it's all part of the process. So I would say that, and I'd caution people who are looking at, saying to not be an entrepreneur, but just caution them to say, listen, this is what it takes, and have that mindset before you embark on this entrepreneurial venture.
Follow us for more interviews with the world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.